So White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki has officially stepped down from her post. Karine Jean-Pierre is now moved into that slot. But on her last day, Jen Psaki had some comments about what her experience in the hot house of D.C. has been like. Let's take a listen.
People always ask me, and I'm sure you guys get asked this too, about whether Washington is rotten, whether everybody is corrupt here and, nothing good happens and we all just argue with each other. And I, having done this job, believe the absolute opposite is true, because I have worked with and engaged with all of these incredible people across the administration and this amazing team, many of whom are here that I get to work with every day. And as I said about Karine last week, these people are already the stars of the team, but they're going to be shining stars in the future, and I'll miss them a lot. Okay.
So she does not believe Washington is corrupt, Saagar.
No,
what do you think about
she's
that?
made me believe the opposite. This is also someone who says that the West Wing is what inspired her to get back into politics. I mean, look, I generally like to take people at their word. I guess that's been your experience. As an outside observer, I would say it's been the opposite of my experience in order to see that that's the case. Also, from my many friends who remain in the press corps, they are not exactly singing the West Wing tune as to how exactly she ran it.
So I actually think, remember when we interviewed Jon Stewart and he was like, I told my staff, you cannot have friends.
Yeah.
Because when you meet a person on an individual basis, they can be, this kind of happened to Bernie and Joe Biden too. They can be nice people. They can be personally kind to you. They can show generosity to you. And so I can understand why when you're in that situation and you're surrounded by people who've been personally nice to you, it's hard to separate that like human to human relationship from the overall things that they're doing, and also like the system that they're operating within. And so, yeah, it's not about individually, like, did Joe Biden call you on your birthday? It's who do you take money from? Where does this ideology come from? What's it doing to people? What's the impact on the country? So that's why, it's some of the most challenging situations are where you know someone personally and you see them doing something that is wrong or bad or corrupt. It can be uncomfortable to reckon with that.
Someone had a great reply. They go, well, why are you taking a job at MSNBC if you think that's true? I mean, if it really is the opposite of corrupt and you have great work to do and you're having the time of your life and you're changing the whole country, then why are you going to go work cable news? Let's be honest, because you're going to make a lot more money.
Paycheck.
And because lying for a living, and I'm not saying that they don't all do this, lying for a living and being a propagandist for a failing administration is not a fun job. That's the honest bit. So in a way, her, spinning all this narrative is the opposite of really what's happening in her actual life. If it really was the most fulfilling job of all time, she would stay. I mean, I've gone back and I've read the people at the time when government is really worrying, you have to kick them kicking and screaming out of government. Like the New Deal guy, they stayed in for years, 8-9 years. Same, under LBJ or JFK. I mean, those people would have crawled over glass. They never would have left the president in the lurch if they really felt like they were accomplishing something. But here, and in past administrations, the Trump administration being one, the Bush administration, high turnover amongst press secretaries, when stuff gets tough, people really always leave the job because they know how full of it that they really are.
A lot of people who are staffers in the White House, I mean, first of all, it's a brutal job just in terms of the hours and what it does to your personal life. So I can certainly understand why, as a mother, she wouldn't want to stay there forever. But a lot of people take these jobs not because of what they want to do or a vision they particularly believe in, but because they want the resume item that, parlays into a cable news hosting gig.
Corporate gig.
Or, or a corporate gig like Jay Carney. And so a lot of times it's used more as a launching pad than actually the place where you're going to stay and try to impact the country in a positive way or further a vision that you ultimately believe. I think that would be different from like the New Deal era when you had a lot of true believers who really thought like, this is the direction.
Or the new frontier, or the great. Actually, Reagan is another example. Man, Reagan, their staff, their people stayed along for a long time. So if you study, like when people really feel like they're really doing good work and all that, they stay. They don't act like this. So there you go.
Interesting and revealing. More for you guys later. Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.